Hello and thanks again for joining us. Drivers, prepare for a big road closure coming to Plymouth this summer. A 3/4 mile stretch of Highway 55 will be closed between West Medicine Lake Drive and Revere Lane. The closure is part of a 2-year project that will make improvements not only for drivers, but also for runners, cyclists, and transit users. That includes constructing 2 tunnels under 55 for safer crossing.
Our kids are going to be able to cross 55 safely on their bikes by using this tunnel to get to East Middle School, to get to coffee shops, etc. So, there's just going to be a huge safety improvement in this area, which is going to be great.
The closure will start in mid-June and is expected to last through October. Project leaders say frontage road access will be maintained for businesses along 55. Coming soon to Maple Grove, a new restaurant. Northern Taphouse is a family-owned restaurant that currently has 4 locations, including one in Plymouth. It's planning to take the space of the former Red Lobster space in Maple Grove. The restaurant is aiming to open in late summer or early fall. In New Hope, city leaders are remembering a longtime New Hope City Council member. Andy Hoffe recently passed away. He was 89 years old. Hoffe spent the last 20 years serving on the New Hope City Council. As Delaney Cleveland reports, the people who served alongside Hoffe all those years say he meant a lot to the city.
My goal is to bring in more business, especially businesses with some good jobs.
The year was 2004. That's when Andy Hoffe first entered the world of New Hope city government after retiring from his teaching career. And it's where he's stayed for the next 20 years.
He was so involved in everything in the community. He's lived here forever. He just wanted to be part of that.
Former Mayor Kathy Hopkins served alongside Hoffe for 14 years. She says he always remained a teacher at heart.
He sat right next to me at the council table and would very often pass me little notes and remind me that I forgot to do something, or maybe you want to talk about this. So he was constantly trying to be the teacher, and I was receptive to all his teaching he could give me.
During Hoffe's 2 decades in office,
people loved Andy. They really did.
Current Mayor John Elder says he was a passionate but soft-spoken leader.
He said his piece. He said why he felt the way he felt. And even if it was in conflict with what other people felt, you still felt respected by that.
Grandstanding was never in his blood, but politics was a family affair.
We're very happy tonight to have as a guest.
His wife Juanita was the longtime host of Northwest City politics until her death in 2023. You couldn't see Hoffe, but he was there running the camera.
And so between takes, he would come to me and say, well, you might want to talk about the new pool, or you might want to bring up something else. So he was always doing that.
A teacher and a public servant until the very end, who will always be remembered for his kindness.
The mark that he left on this city will continue on for years.
In New Hope, Delaney Cleveland, CCX News.
High school students held graduation ceremonies this past week, cherishing memories and looking forward to what's next. Today, Kevin Miller introduces us to Armstrong grad Maddy Major, whose health condition is driving her to start a new chapter, helping others.
Madeline Major.
For many students, commencement brings fun, if fleeting, memories.
And it was exciting. I was very happy that I actually made it,
For Maddy Major of Plymouth,
things weren't always easy throughout high school.
her graduation came with a feeling of vindication.
And it's official, you are now graduates of Armstrong, class of 2025.
In a sense, having all these experiences where people are doubting me has kind of led me to, in a sense, want to prove them wrong.
Each photo from her time at school brings back memories. Most are cheerful. Some are challenging reminders.
Having to do everything while also navigating having a visual impairment was definitely hard,
Maddy has Stargardt disease and is blind.
And basically, it just means that, my central vision is pretty blurry.
But the need for accommodations like large print on her phone never held her back.
I often have to deal with people who have a certain idea of what someone who's blind or low vision can do. And I often have to explain to them that, no, that's actually incorrect.
She was co-president of the Armstrong Environmental Club, where she found a passion for environmental justice and disability rights. She was awarded a $10,000 scholarship from the Lighthouse Guild for her leadership.
And it's going to be really helpful as I go through college and future endeavors.
The financial boost will help her learn to advocate for others.
Really just want to help them know that, yes, you may be different, but like, you don't have to let that stop you.
In Plymouth, Kevin Miller, CCX News.
Maddy is headed to the University of Minnesota this fall to study law. We wish her good luck. Finally, this segment, a Crystal School's plan to better connect the community with nature.
Well, what we're standing in right now will be our Dragon Den. It's our outdoor classroom kind of amphitheater with a view right there of Gulkey Pond, an important watershed for our community.
Assistant Principal Jennifer Holtgrew recently gave CCX News a tour of what's planned for the school. Currently unused space will be transformed into a community garden and outdoor classroom where students and neighbors can plant pollinator flowers and grow vegetables. The idea for the project began years ago. A partnership with the nonprofit Trust for Public Land helped make it happen.
We know that across the country, most kids spend less than 10 minutes outside every day, which is incredible. And we know that being outside is essential for our health and well-being. These are places that connect us to each other, to community. These are incredibly important spaces for learning, getting our hands in the dirt.
So this schoolyard is really literally a community schoolyard. It'll be open for our neighbors to come and utilize this space and have that community connection as well.
The school hopes to celebrate completing the project by the end of this summer.
The high school boys and girls state track and field meet will take place next week at St. Michael Albertville High School. In this week's CCX Sports Spotlight, Chaz Moose profiles a runner on the Hopkins boys team who's hoping to repeat the success he had from last year's state meet.
The track is where Henry Risser loves to compete.
The thing with track that I just love is that, the work you put in, you get out of it.
Henry's track coach, Nick Lovis.
He's relentless in his pursuit for his own excellence.
And his sprinting coach, Austin Solargo.
Dedicated, for sure.
Give high marks.
And he's very specific.
Which makes it surprising that track runs in the second lane when it comes to Henry's passions.
I can't lie and not say that soccer isn't the sport that I love the most. In middle school, and I'm not just going to be like a soccer kid, I wear a soccer jersey like every couple days at school or whatnot. That's just what I was known for. I lived and breathed it.
Henry grew up loving the competition that soccer provided along with the community it provided.
So my best friends that I have now were the kids that I was playing rec league soccer with, club soccer with. I was just around those guys all the time. I just loved being part of a team.
Some of those friends were the ones that convinced Henry to try track his freshman year.
My friends are doing it. I'll get out in the sun, have a little bit of fun, and I'll just stay in shape, get some extra cardio for soccer was my plan.
But the more he poured into it, the more potential showed out.
Kind of read the writing on the wall, I think, after his sophomore year that I could be pretty good at this.
Henry never quit on soccer, but after his sophomore year, Henry used the work ethic that he had built from his first love and started taking the training on the track more seriously.
I would work as hard as possible in soccer, but sometimes just not see the results right away just because it's so team-oriented. But in a sport like track where you put everything in, you get everything out. And I just noticed that right away, and I really just attached that and just kind of went after that.
In his junior season, Henry took off. His personal records started to inch closer to school records.
We saw the breakout his junior year, and knowing what he had done to get ready for his junior year and how it all unfolded, there was no doubt in my mind that his ceiling was even beyond maybe what we were envisioning.
In his senior year, Henry broke the 400-meter and 800 school records with the previous 13-year record holder of the 400.
You're disappointed.
In attendance.
Hey, how's it feel to have your record broken?
Yeah. It's like 99% great and then 1%, little shot.
Despite having the bragging rights, Henry is the first to admit that he wouldn't have been able to break the 400 record without the help from the record holder.
It's just difficult in high school to land yourself a good, track coach that, it's so many times it's like your math teacher that's just having you run laps, but I've had a guy who competed at the Division I level coaching me, who's got the knowledge and has the previous expertise to just help me get to where I want to be.
The final lap in Henry's Hopkins career will come next week at the MSHSL state meet.
State qualifier Henry Risser of Hopkins.
Henry, who's in the top 5 in Minnesota high school boys all-time records in both the 400 and 800, is excited for his final opportunity.
One of the big goals that I'd love to achieve is, breaking the state record in the 800 and just really seeing how far I go in like my 800 and just seeing how fast I can get. But of course, whatever happens, happens, and I'm just happy with the progress that I've made to this day.
No matter how things play out on the track next week, Henry has cemented himself as one of the best to do it in one of the best track and field programs in the state.
And I think Henry makes a pretty strong argument that if Hopkins, if we had a Mount Rushmore, he would be a face on Mount Rushmore for Tracktown, Minnesota.
On your mark. Not bad for a soccer guy. Chaz Moots, CCX Sports.
Henry had several colleges that wanted him to run track at their schools. He said it was a tough decision, but he committed to the University of Wisconsin because he felt like it was the best opportunity for him, both athletically and academically. For the CCX Sports Spotlight, I'm John Jacobson.
Find more prep sports games and highlights at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.